Miraculously, it so happens that for the first time in my life, I'm not 5 years late to talk about a trending topic, which is Apple's Vision Pro. So I will take my sweet time to talk about it today. In this video, I want to talk primarily about three things, which are all related. First being reasonable consumerism. Second, Apple's intimate data farm and how Vision Pro will contribute to it. And third, I want to talk about Apple's privacy stripping ecosystem and my general critique towards it. So, what does responsible consumerism have to do with Vision Pro and Apple in general? Well, when we're talking about responsible consumerism, we mostly think about replacing paper straws with metal ones to not harm turtles in the oceans, or reducing our plastic use, or buying cosmetics in glass jars instead of plastic ones. And in general, buying less of fast fashion items or whatever. But we often neglect and ignore the part of responsible consumerism which touches technology and how technology affects our mental health and our social skills, and that very intimate part that is so important to our human experience, right? Because we are very concerned with responsible consumerism when it comes to things that put our species at risk of extinction through external effects. For example, all the climate policies and so on and so forth, because those things are, let's say, risks to our survival from the outside. But we already know and have enough statistics about the fact that social media affects our mental health and our social relations and how it divides people. And although being a great tool, has been turned into something that demoralizes and has degenerative effects on us, so to say. So besides moderating, let's say, our consumption of things, we also need to pay more attention to disciplining ourselves and acknowledging and taking into consideration our animal nature and how, let's say, excessive catering to it, though pleasant, tends to affect us in unhealthy ways and slowly destroy us. So in that regard, if demand dictates the supply, we as consumers, those that demand the supply, we need to be aware and be more cautious with what we demand from the suppliers. Because as long as we're demanding more convenient technology that would feel nice, or let's say boost our dopamine production or whatever, or bursts of dopamine, for that time being, or as long as we demand those things, the suppliers will provide them for us. Plus now, thanks to media, and those suppliers are able to engineer the demand. So we also need to be cautious of the things that we are presented and how we internalize what was presented to us. Because if we continue demanding things that destroy us, the things that destroy us will be produced because there's demand for it and they are being consumed. Let me now look at Apple Vision Pro's presentation and explain how responsible consumerism applies here and how we're opening yet another door to reduction of our privacy and potentially malicious use against us. And I also must clarify that I have nothing against technology itself. I am not saying that we should abandon technology and go back to the old ways, because old ways aren't that good either. I don't want to have a lifespan of 35 years, and I don't think you want that either. Technology itself is neutral. It doesn't have a problem in itself. Like, let's take nuclear energy, for example. itself, it's neutral. It although it can be used for good or, so to say, for evil, or let's say maliciously in a way that would oppress or harm individuals or the environment. And so, let's look at the Vision Pro. When we open the page, official Apple page, we see a young lady with a Vision Pro on and her eyes in the front. But it's a static picture, so we don't know if that's a photo of her eyes on the front, or it's a broadcast, or a, I don't know, fucking deepfake or some shit. We don't know. But we assume we're gonna be demonstrated later. Well, first thing you see is, welcome to the era of spatial computing. The guy puts on the Vision Pro, and miraculously we are blended in with the next frame, and it looks like it's real, like you're wearing lenses that are showing you all these apps on a screen, when instead, or in your environment actually, when instead it's a big ass fuckery on your face. Apple Vision Pro seamlessly blends digital content with your physical space. Well, it's made in an appealing way, like it's an emotional sell. It makes it seem so convenient and so nice and so futuristic, and it does look nice. Like, I can see the appeal in it. I can imagine how it can be useful and innovative or a breakthrough in many industries or professions. For example, I can see myself potentially using that on a plane if I need to look at some sensitive documents or analytics and I don't want anybody around me to look at my screen. Yeah, it would be a nice tool to look at those things in that way. Or I can imagine how architects could use that, or how, let's say, I don't know, real estate companies could use this in their demonstration or whatever. Yeah, it can be a nice thing. Again, technology in itself is not bad. It's just that it's made seemingly way too convenient. So you can do the things you love in ways never before possible. Again, you're overselling it. Free your desktop and your apps will follow. And here you have a clean ass desktop, a closed computer, and a guy in the Vision Pro and all these things in front of him, like screens and stuff. Well, yes, if you're a office worker who only needs to deal with documents, like, I don't know, send this PDF to the other guy, like if you're that in the middle worker who is just there doing one specific easy task, yeah, it can be useful in that sense. But imagine like you're working on some bigger project, like you're designing something like serious. Like for example, I don't know, a Photoshop file size of 2 GB. You're not gonna manage that shit on your Vision Pro or whatever. Same with like other like rendering projects. Like when it comes to serious, let's say computing power, it probably won't carry. So those that can actually afford the product and let's say integrate it in their work are going to be left with a half useful tool. Because I had the same experience when I used to be an Apple fanboy. Like I had an Apple Watch, I still have a MacBook and an iPhone, right? And I'm continuously more and more disappointed in them. Because when this 2017 MacBook Pro was coming out, they were marketing it as, oh, a tool for creators, musicians, this and that. And they just give you USB-C. Bro, where's the Thunderbolt? Where's everything else? Like, where do I plug in the keyboards and shit? I need to buy adapters and docks and everything? Like, no. And the 2015 one did much better job at rendering than the 2017 one. Like, I'm pissed. The ultimate theater, wherever you go. Well, that is true. Probably. An immersive way to experience entertainment. Well, yeah, that's a fair point. Be in the moment all over again, and here's like this emotional and wholesome looking frame where there's like a man and their kids. Like, yeah, it looks cute, but how often do you rewatch videos on your phone? Like, let's be honest. I have a gallery of like 400 photos. I take them and I forget about them. I never revisit them. At best, I come back and I delete them. And now, they have these shots here where there's like a team meeting on FaceTime, or like a private FaceTime and this other person is like on the screen and all this and that, but what do you look like in that FaceTime? Like, do you only see eyes, or you're like, I don't know, animation or whatever? Like, I don't think it's that nice in actual practice as they are making it look like. Make meetings more meaningful. I doubt it's gonna make meetings more meaningful. More dystopian, maybe. Designed by Apple, yeah, we get it. Who else would design it? Looks slick, not gonna lie. Glass, oof. I mean, it looks nice, it looks slick, it probably feels expensive as well. I don't have anything bad to say about that. Like, once again, it's a well-designed product. It's just that it's doing more than it should, and that is the problem. It's how convenient technology makes us less social. That is a problem. How it like replaces vital parts of our lives is a problem, in my opinion. Like, again, not to be political here, so don't take it the wrong way, but I got to experience a fair share of Soviet devices or tools or whatever. And what I like about them is that they straight up just do their job and they're durable. Like, there's a durable piece of shit that does its job reasonably well and is cheap to replace. If you ever need to replace it in the first place. And you only use it to do its job and nothing else. Like, you don't take a fucking hammer and try to do other things because it's a hammer, it just does the hammer thing. But when your hammer starts to have fucking games on it and everything else, like a vibrator, you know, you replace your partner with that hammer. That's not a good thing. Anyway, yeah, expand your surrounding, we get it. And now there's this like weird ass picture where there's like the same lady and a man apparently having a conversation, like an intimate conversation on a couch and stuff. Like they're maybe flirting or just having like a nice time and stuff. And she is wearing the Vision Pro. Why? Just take it off. Just spend time with people. Like, you know, have an eye-to-eye conversation. Don't have these like shades in between. Even if they're displaying your eyes, it's like that. It's not it. And the guy had like fucking 4 cameras pointing and a whole lot of sensors pointing at him. Like you're being filmed while you're having a conversation with that person. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the same as having a phone in your face when talking to somebody. Stay connected to people around you. Vision Pro helps you remain connected to those around you. Eyesight reveals your eyes and lets those nearby know when you're using the app or fully immersed in an experience. When someone approaches, Vision Pro simultaneously lets you see the person and reveals your eyes to them. Just take it off. Just take it off. Like, you're solving a problem that you just created for $3,400. Like, I know Eastern Europe broke, but my guy, don't. 23 million pixels. Okay, let's get to the fun part now, okay? What do they got? Our most advanced spatial, audio, whatever, you get it. Audio system ever. Let's go. And they're literally showing you that, yeah, now we not only have your retina and we know what your attention goes to, but we also have not only video footage of your space and surrounding, but also this like 3D mapping of it. Nice, cool. So I buy it to watch a movie at home and suddenly Apple has full 3D image of the rooms I'm in with those goggles on. How about no? Plus again, imagine like you're having a family time, right? And you want to watch movies with your family and you want to have this experience. Are you all gonna have these on? Probably not. Like, okay, I'm exaggerating right now. Like, if you want to watch a movie with your family, you're gonna use a TV. Like, nobody's gonna buy 4 pairs of those until they make a cheaper version, like Vision SA or some shit. Okay, Was there something else I wanted to talk about here? Yeah. The system also helps deliver precise head and hand tracking and real-time 3D mapping. I mean, they're just saying it. They're like, yeah, bro, 3D of everything you were surrounded by. And privacy and security. Pay attention. When it comes to privacy, we don't blink. Now, that did not sound good. That did not come out well. Like, when it comes to privacy, we don't blink. Yeah, bet you already have my fingerprints, you have my Face ID. If I'm wearing an Apple Watch, you have my heart rate, my blood sugar, my sleep cycles and stuff. And now you have my iris. Oh yeah, you have my bank data because Apple Wallet, Apple Pay, Apple Cash, Apple Credit Card, whatever else. Um, you listen to me at all times to track my data. You know everything about my advertising stuff. Like, how to say it? As an advertising agency owner, my income partially depends on these tools and their advancement. And I hate it. Not like in an emotional way, but in a way that it feels hypocritical to speak about these things. On one side, my income comes from these technologies and them being used, and I literally do the fucking manipulation to make somebody buy something or push them closer to making a purchase. Then again, as a consumer, I understand how unhealthy it is. And, you know, being in the industry, I'm aware of this, so I can manage it to an extent in myself, for example. But if you don't know about it, you don't really pay attention to it, you don't notice it, and that makes you more vulnerable to it. So I think it's at least responsible to make those things known and talk about them so people can think for themselves. Like, if you don't care if you're being advertised things, sure thing. If you do care, well, maybe be more privacy oriented, use better devices which aren't Apple. You know, get a VPN or whatever. Man, that is not nice. And also, when it comes to advertising, I must be honest with myself as well here, because I find advertising oriented tracking convenient in a sense, because one time I was sitting in the kitchen with my dad drinking coffee and talking about stuff, and he was telling me how he wants to get a new table, like an electronic table that, you know, moves up and down and shit. And so we talked about it for like 15 minutes, and he said like, oh, I want it to be like metal and glass and stuff, to put my MacBook on it, whatever. And so I open Instagram, and the next ad I see is the exact table he was describing. And that's convenient, you know, you don't need to look for it, it's right there and there for you. Use it, get it, buy it, whatever. But, you know, when you're a bit more gullible and stuff, then, you know, you can get sold on a lot of stuff. And I don't like the mentality of take money from the dumb people. Like, maybe, you know, if you're gonna use it for good, maybe. But better just teach them to be more financially literate. Okay, and that's all on the fucking Vision Pro page. So, I hope everybody understands how much this new device infringes on privacy, because it scans your iris, it looks in your eyes at all times. You know how there are heat maps on websites where, you know, the areas that are more clicked are more, let's say, pronounced? Now Apple's gonna know what things catch your attention the most. And living in the capitalist world we live in, you know, these metrics are gonna use to tailor and engineer the services to be more addictive and more attention grabbing, as Facebook notifications and everything else. Like, we've seen this before. Like, this is not a new thing. This is not like some conspiracy theory. It's like, it's public information. We know this. And it's ridiculous how we are allowing this to continue. Because again, I'm not trying to be some doomsday prophet or whatever. I'm just saying that there are statistics, there is data, there is everything is public. We are being made addicted to things, and we are openly asking for it. Like, I don't know how much of it is human nature, how much is it that we're just engineered to ask for those things by, again, advertisements and everything else. But I think it's important to like talk about this. People need to like think about it, and the more you hear about it, the more you're gonna think about it. So if you are willingly, let's say, immersing yourself in this and you want to be, let's say, guided and manipulated into buying things, sure, that's your life, do whatever. But those who don't know about it or don't think about it enough, maybe they should hear about it more, to think about it more often. Because again, we just looked at Vision Pro. I voiced some of my thoughts about it. But if you think about it in a, let's say, more long-term perspective, in a context of Apple's whole ecosystem, what do they already have? They have your fingerprints, they have the image and the 3D map of your face, they have your bank information and your banking tools, they have most of your email accounts and emails and everything, contacts, notes, stuff, app data, all synced up between all your devices through iCloud. Of course, they know what you do within apps and how you use them, what content you view, how long you view it, and everything that we know is being collected through data and our use of applications. Then they have an Apple Watch, or like Apple Watches, that track your temperature, help you predict your period cycles. They can track your REM, core, and deep sleep, blood oxygen, your pulse, and all that stuff. Like, it has a lot of data, not about just, you know, your digital footprint or whatever. They have your intimate body related data, your health, your retina, your fingerprints. And if you want to give them this data for the sake of convenience, or if you have health issues and it actually makes your life more, let's say, pleasant to experience, then sure. I mean, in that case, I understand it. But for most of us, I don't think Apple needs to know uh, how I'm sleeping or when I'm sleeping. I don't think Apple needs to know, let's say, what's my body temperature right now. Although, still, I might want to use the convenient Apple Watch because it is a good device, I'm not gonna lie. It's nice to have your notes all over your devices, like it saves so much time. And so now they also have your retina, and they know what, let's say, and now they also know what, let's say, tickles your attention. Plus, let's be honest, I am pretty sure a whole lot of people are gonna use Vision Pro just to indulge in playing with themselves. Maybe kids watching, I don't know. So yeah, not a good thing. And imagine governments probably have deals with Apple as well and can pull information from them on serious requests, but the seriousness of their request can be manufactured, and we see how corporations and states are merging right now. So, do you want a corporation to have access to such data of yours, and then consequently the government to have access to this information? Mm, mm, mm. I don't think that is very good. And again, I don't think that's very good only in the context of our current government and no. And I think that that is problematic only within the framework of our current system of governance and economy, because they are more authoritarian than we like to think. And so we're kind of allowing or opening up a possibility for continuous enslavement and brainwashing of ourselves through convenience and seeming sense of security, so to say. Because again, why do we give up our freedoms and rights and everything else? For a sense of security, for a sense of safety. And I can see how all this convenience can contribute to that, but again, freedom is responsibility, and I think there should be a balance between freedoms and responsibilities of our own that are within our own personal agency, and let's say security and transparency that we, let's say, experience in societies and cities and so on. So yeah, there should be a balance between those things, as otherwise, you know, we're continuously moving towards some dystopian future. And again, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. I could be misunderstanding things or misinterpreting things or just, blowing things out of proportion. But it's always, I think, better to be a bit paranoid and at least entertain the risks and maybe prepare a bit for them, because I would rather feel stupid for preparing for something that didn't happen rather than uh, be stupid for not preparing when something happens. You know, again, it's all about moderation and common sense. I'm not saying like, throw away all your gadgets and whatnot. No, just think with yourself, think for yourself, analyze, criticize, and see, you know, where you could do better for yourself without, taking away too many comforts. Because again, I use an iPhone because it's convenient, it's comfortable, it has benefits, and there are some trade-offs I'm willing to make for this comfort. Yet, I'm doing this consciously, so everyone, in my opinion, should do this consciously, because otherwise, you are harming yourself, and by harming yourself, you're opening the door to harming others, and so on and so forth. We need to be more attentive to how we consume things, what things we allow to affect us, and in what ways we allow those things or technologies to affect us. As I don't think we want to, I don't think that we want to grow more antisocial. I don't think we want more division and disagreement. Even with the internet and social media, you know, when things are designed to be more addictive, uh, disbalance is created, and maybe social media isn't to be a place where we are at all times and that is always at our fingertips. Maybe it's something we should use out of necessity. For example, we need to communicate with someone, we can message them, but we don't put all of our lives on social media and live through social media, because after all, it's just an addition to our human experience, not the human experience itself. So yeah, that's about it.